Okay, you're trying this again. Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. It's the start of a new year, start of a new quarter, new month, all of that. It's a whole lot going on. So, I have been on vacation for the last couple of weeks. I am back now, ready to really get into it. We're going to start doing our study sessions again, starting this coming Saturday in the Discord, and of course, that we posted here on YouTube. I plan on having more videos for you guys. Like, it's a whole bunch of things coming for 2023. So, I'm really excited about that. So, I want to remind you guys again that we are starting a new year, a new month, a new quarter. I said that all backwards. So, as far as the uncoupling, now, of course, the year doesn't count, but the uncoupling is going to take a while for this first one. Check my phone real quick. I also decided to do something new here where y'all can see my face now. I said I was going to put my face a little bit more front and center so that you can put a face to the voice that you hear all the time. And then shout outs to AB has me doing this because, I'm all things Strat. So if you don't know, but I also have a Strat playlist that I made. If you want to learn the Strat, you want to learn how I, come up with these things or why I'm looking at these things a certain way, check out that playlist. So, now the new month starts on tomorrow, January 3rd. So that's going to be the new month, the week, the day, all of that. So we're not going to uncouple until the following Tuesday. Okay, because then that's when we'll have a new week, a new day, yada, yada, yada. Also, keep in mind that this week right here is going to be a short week. We're closed today, obviously. And then we have MLK's birthday in 2 weeks. That's another short week. And then also this week, there's a lot of economic data coming out. So it should be really volatile. So I really think it's a good week to kind of get other things going, maybe do some studying, do light trading. You may have some good days, but trade light because it could be very volatile and, it's really unknown with all of these economic events that are happening. All right. So yeah, I said I was going to step it up better with the editing and all of that type of stuff. So let's get to it. All right. First and foremost, I hope that you guys, for plays, if you're looking anything, you've opened up Frank's spreadsheet because that's really the best way to kind of take away all of this work for you. Just open up the spreadsheet, okay? On this spreadsheet, you can find what's doing what by the year, the quarter, the month, all of that. Did a whole video on it. I'll link that. I need to do a how to find plays video. I feel like I did one. If not, that's coming. Anyway, so remember that you can make a playlist, a watch list out of these tabs for the year, the quarter, whatever. So hopefully you're here so you can kind of see what is happening where. Take the time to look through this really comprehensive spreadsheet because it will save you a lot of time trying to figure out what's doing what on the year, what to two, what to three, what to rev strat, blah, blah, blah. Just look at Frank's spreadsheet, okay? So moving on, when you look at the spreadsheet, obviously, and you upload your import your lists into TradingView, then you'll have these right here. You can look through them. As you can see, the bearish side has a lot for the year and the quarter, so it's not looking too good for quarter one. I'm not going to go through all of these because it's so many. And I think that our first study session this coming weekend will be a lot more intensive. We can talk about some things and we can go over, see how things opened up on the year, the quarter, the month, and then go from there. So what we can do though is look at our regular stuff. All right, so Let us get to these sectors. XLK. Okay, looking at you on the year. We barely took out last year's low and came right back in, but we ended there. So really interested to see what this does on the quarter. It's not quite a shooter, but it is an inverted hammer. So just want to see if it's kind of going to continue this downtrend that technology is in. I mean, every quarter is making lower highs. So just have to see what it does here. It's in between these two EMAs. So then let's now look at healthcare. Healthcare has a hammer on the year. But it looks like it's just, I mean, been going straight up for years. Looking at it on the quarter, it corrects to this 8 and then just gets bought up every single time. So interesting to see if on the quarter this does a 3-2 continuation to show that the bulls are still in control here. So XLP, consumer staples, not quite a doji, but that's not really nothing to really say anything about. We do have an outside quarter, so similar to XLB. We could possibly get a 3-2 continuation to show that the bulls are still in control here. Okay, XLE was the play of the year. Let me just remove this. So, this was a beautiful downtrend for years. Hammer, inside bar, and then boom, took off, and it just took out all of these targets. So I think that because energy just did so well this year, I doubt that it can reach for this magnitude. It can. Yeah, we know that it can. So if it does, then magnitude is 101.57. But I honestly think that we will probably have an inside year for energy. And then we'll have an inside year, and then it'll decide what it wants to do after that. Consequently, it could rev strat, but I mean, I think that that's a lot. I think that energy would have to sell off the entire year, like the entire year. That would have to be red for the entire year because, right now we're here, 87.47. For us to rev strat, it would have to go all the way down here and then take us back down here. And I just, I don't think that we would do that. So I'm looking for an inside year for energy, which would mean that it may not be that tradable, or it's times where it won't be tradable. So on the quarter, so far it's not a shooter at all. But it was a TTO. We took these people out here. So again, we can still try to go for a magnitude here, or we can reverse on the quarter. This will still take up a little bit, but I can see us reversing and doing a correction here, and then maybe probably bouncing in this area, this price area right here, where prices move fast. And maybe want to iron this area out. So we might just honestly bounce around here the entire year. Utilities, doji on the year. So just nobody in control here. On the month, it's not quite a hammer, but this 2 down, this green 2 down, if it reverses on the quarter, could give you a 2 down, 2 up, Randy Jackson. Yes, because we have a 2 up, 2 up, 2 down green. So yeah, this could be a bullish Randy Jackson on the quarter for utilities. It would need to break above this 74.10-ish. And then your target is 78.35 for the quarter. So that's utilities. XLC is communications. And as you can see, it's 2 up, 2 down on the year, but it did not quite hit magnitude. Which, I mean, if it did, that would be its forever low. So, that may be why it's found support here. It's found support really here around 47.86, where it's at now. So on the quarter, it's a doji. It's, red. It's not really looking like anyone's in control. But, I mean, it's a super downtrend there. communication has just been beat up for since last year. Yep, summer of last year. Well, summer of 2021 because it's now 2023. So maybe this is finally reach some support. If it can reverse and get it back above 52, then that may be a good reversal right there since it's been beat down so much. Yeah, entire year it's just been So that may be at exhaustion. Wait, let me look at the quarter. We have not taken out any stops here though, but again, it could. That's really low, 41.40, but just have to see kind of what it does. I'm not seeing so far anything, oh, great, like XLE was. Not yet. XLY, which is consumer discretionary. So it triggered to the downside, but it did not finish. It looks like it found some support here on this 8. So just looking to see if it will continue to go down. I mean, it's consumer discretionary. We know there's people spending, but inflation, the R word, all of that stuff. So on the quarter, it did do a 212 and it hit its target. So for the quarter, if it decides that, this is the support and buyers step in, this could possibly rev strat. At the moment, it closed way down here, so it's not really looking like it will rev strat, but of course this is a quarter timeline. That's 3 months. So looking to see if this is going to continue its downtrend or go or reverse. This is a shoulder, this is a head. This could definitely do a shoulder the entire year, kind of like what it did over here. So watching XLY, consumer discretionary, to see what it does. XLI, which is industrials. It's a hammer, but it's red. So, it did an outside bar for the year. So looking to see what it does. It kind of finished like a little bit halfway through that candle. So just, if it 3-2 up, then the bulls are still in control, or 3-2 reversal. And if it reverses, this is, if it can get past the support here, which is 81.69, that's a pretty decent range to the downside. So I'm going to be watching XLI to see what it does on the year. On the quarter, we got a shoulder, we got a head. We could make a shoulder, and that shoulder could come down. So yeah, watching XLI to see what that does. XLF, which is financials, banks, and things like that. It's not really anything here that excites me too much. Except, we were going up and then now we've corrected back. On the quarter, we have an outside quarter, so we would look to see if the bulls continue this, the 3-2 to the upside, or how this works out. It could inside quarter, and again, we have a shoulder head. So could definitely make a shoulder over here for a while. XLRE is real estate. So we know the housing market's been niche. So basically XLRE gave up all of its gains for the previous year, did an outside year, and ended pretty close. So interesting to see if it does a 3-2 down and continues this downtrend. It's just not looking good for it. It's a doji on the quarter, so if it does, it'd be a 2 continuation, so it's not really actionable signal. Yeah, it's not an actionable signal on the quarter, but if it did reverse, then you would have a 2 up there. But again, on the quarter, we got a shoulder, a head, could definitely make a shoulder. Y'all seeing that pattern, right? Let's look at airlines, jets. Oof. Beat down on the year, but we do have a. This is a. I think this. Take it out. This may be a 3 or 2. 3, 1, 2. So Is it time for airlines? Because if so, we would have a 1-2 rev strat possible, or this could just 1-2-2 continue down. So just kind of have to see what it does. This candle's not really looking too good, but it's not really doing a whole lot. So we know that if it breaks to the downside, then we can continue seeing that 1-2-2. Otherwise, if it breaks to the upside past this resistance, my next resistance would be this 21, maybe even the strat target. But you see that on the quarter, it has not broken above the 21 in a while. So still in a pretty bad downtrend. It did make an H. So let's see if it just comes down to the support or what happens. If the market is bearish, a lot of these things are just going to continue. So oil and gas, we know that has been doing pretty well on the year. It's not really much here. We do see it rejected this though. It made it all the way up there, but it could not hit this target right here before it came back in. So it's a shooter on the quarter. It's green, but it's a shooter on the quarter. So if this goes into effect, then you will have a 2 up, 2 down under 130-ish. The target would be 108 if it can get past here. Now, granted, this 8 is crossing on this 20, but this 8 is crossing this 20, but it has still rejected. So I kind of have to see what XLP does. Then LIT, just lithium and battery ETF, is an inside year. So I really like this, honestly, for a reversal, because this is not a shooter, but it's a pretty strong candle of it opening up here and closing here inside this. So looking for this to break 55.20 would be the first yearly target, 49.15, and then it may make it all the way down. I don't think it's going to hit the strat target because it may find support around here, around 27.30-ish. So if it dies all year, that's something to keep an eye on. A pretty strong shooter here on the quarter. So again, just once it can break this 55.20, then just right there, yeah, we can look for this to keep going down. This is kind of a shoulder, head, shoulder, a little bit. This is what I do want to look at on the month, and look at that. Yep, shoulder, head, shoulder. So I am looking for LIT to keep going down. Take this inside year to the downside. Just have to see how far it will go. All right, so now let's go to our regular stuff. Let's look at our VIX. Okay, just I'm gonna hide these. Oops, that's not what I want to hide. Drawings. All right, you guys, look at VIX though. So VIX is interesting because it's kind of like, looks like it's been doing a whole lot of nothing, right? But we have all these wicks here where it's gone, but it's been pushed back down. So right now, the only actionable signal in the VIX would be a rev strat because it's a shooter on the quarter. Now, this is a little bit interesting because you're going to see that Apple also has a shooter on the quarter. So we just kind of have to see which one. I'm sorry, this is a shooter on the year. Shooter on the year. On the quarter, it's not a shooter, but it is a strong 2 down. But Apple was a shooter on the quarter, so we'll get to that in a minute. VIX had a double inside quarter, so I thought that the break was going to do something, and it just hasn't. It hasn't. Oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm exhausted. But even though a double inside is an actionable signal, we do have a possible rev strat. So this could 1, 2 down, 2 up on the quarter, which would coincide with the Apple shooter on the quarter. So speaking of that, let's look at that, to the shooter. First, let's look at the year, though. So almost all last year, or let me see, when did it first hit? I want to say it first hit it here. So yeah, so probably from April, we were looking to see if Apple was going to do the outside year. And it was a magnet for that 150 area. So it didn't have enough time. I honestly think if it had like maybe 2 more weeks or so, it probably would have made it. But anyway, it did not finish the outside year. So one thing I have noticed, and sorry y'all, it's kids are out of school, so, and these are not my kids, but there are kids in the background just screaming right now. And they're across the street and I can hear them. But anyway, if it doesn't finish the outside bar and the Bears are or Bulls are still in control, you can look for it to finish that next session. Well, so whatever time frame you're looking on, if it's the month, the quarter, the day, whatever, look for it to continue the next day or the next session if it didn't finish. So Apple did not finish the outside year, but I am still looking for it to make it to this 116 target. And I think with this shooter, it can definitely do that. Okay. So if it does, it's not an actionable signal on the quarter, but the next target will be 122.82 and then the 116 and then 107.46. Okay. Apple could certainly rev strat. It's nowhere near doing that, and the shooter is just pretty strong. I mean, even with that last bit of buy up that we had on Friday, this is a pretty strong shooter. Yeah, so looking at that now, granted, we also do like to look at our stuff on the day. So really quickly to see how far it is in relation to the 200. Okay. And the VIX in relation to its 200. Shooter on the day, but then Apple had a hammer on the day. So Apple could definitely do some correction. It's a gap right there. It's not a gap, but this is not fair value. Volume imbalance right here that it could target. 143. It also has made a new 52-week low last week, which is probably why it had this correction activity. So kind of have to see what Apple does. But I'm definitely watching this shooter on the quarter. Sorry, y'all. Microsoft, however, is an inside year, a red inside year. So we're going to keep that in mind. The quarter ended as a doji, a green doji, so we'd have to see what it does. But we are going to keep that in mind that Microsoft is an inside year at the top of going for years and years, going strong. It may want to correct down some. So let's look at that on the day. In relation to its 200. Yep. And on the week, it's like we want to make NH come down here. So that looking to see if Microsoft is going to break this inside to the downside. And then SPY. So SPY did that outside year a long time ago. We called that happen, bounced back around, came back up, all that stuff. So now we're looking to see if SPY is going to 3-2 on the year. Are we going to 3-2 down? Are we going to 3 inside year? Are we going to reverse and 3-2 up? This is a lot. to be honest, for us to 3-2 up, we would have to run $100 to do that. It's not to say the SPY can't do that. But at the moment, we have closed closer to the bottom of the candle than we have the top of the candle. So I would be looking for it to 3-2 down or inside a year, honestly. And then on the quarter, we have this head and shoulders that everything is doing. Even on the month, you can see the shoulder, the head, the shoulder on why everything looks so bearish. So not really a shooter on the quarter for SPY, but yeah, looking to see what that does. For the Qs, we triggered to the downside but did not finish. So no actionable signal there, but just you can look and see that it's still in this downtrend. yeah, it's not taken these folks out yet here at 246. And in relation to it on the week and the day, similar to Apple with this volume imbalance up here, but far away from our 200. So that is the Qs. NASDAQ, similar to the Qs, of course, like it's really going to look exactly the same. The Dow. So we did an outside bar, but then we came back up. So, you know, we opened up here, came all the way down. We opened up here, took the last year out, came all the way down, kind of like SPY, and it came back up, just like SPY. So, interesting to see what it does. It ended in the middle. So, again, I think like SPY, this may give us an inside, but this is closer to telling us that this could possibly go to the upside. Reason I also say that is the Dow is the only one of these that is above its 200 on the day. So, and that's, you know, for now. It crossed above, it held above for a while, but now we have, on the day, we have crossed under. Looks like we got a shoulder, head, shoulder here. So it looks like it's turning around. On the month, this 2 up, 2 down could turn it around. But yeah, that so far, that's the only one that looks somewhat like it's been holding. The Russell 2000 also has triggered to the downside. 1, 2, possible rev strat if the bulls really step in here. Otherwise, it's, I mean, this is a better looking shooter, but just have to see what this does. So a lot of these look similar with the same head here, and wondering if it's going to make a shoulder. So IWM. This small caps, and you know, same thing, it triggered to the downside. This literally looks just like the Russell. Oh, because I am looking. Y'all. Okay, so just a couple other things I wanted to go over. Let's look at Tesla for the year. So Tesla triggered to the downside. On the month, it did hard. The quarter it's actually reached its magnitude, but you know, the way it's looking on the month, it's not looking too good, too hot for Tesla. It's really not. I know that I was saying when I was looking at it on the month, I think it was, yes, that this 125 was its support. It's been a magnet so far. And then this 110, it hit the 110, it hit as low as 104. And then, you know, it came back in. But yeah, Tesla is not really looking too good. Nvidia on the year barely took out last year's low and then came back in. So, you know, keeping an eye on chips, that's also not looking too hot. JP Morgan, the 2 down on the year. Amazon has just about hit its magnitude, well, its yearly target. This is nowhere near turning around for the following year. So if anything, I would look for Amazon to be an inside year or actually continue this downtrend. May need some corrective activity first, but yeah, it's not looking too good. I mean, here, honestly, it needs to iron out this area. It could even come up here a little bit and create another shoulder. Just have to see. But the way these things are looking, y'all, it's looking like we may create a shoulder. So we could be making a shoulder over here, and it could come all the way up to here. You know, it could take a few days. It could take, we're looking at it on the quarter, so it may take some time. Okay. So checking out Google outside bar for the year. So looking to see if it continues to the downside. That's a lot. But as you can see, it's you know, it's been going down 4 quarters now. Meta for the year, it's been beat down. And Netflix. So that's all I really have for you guys today. I just wanted to show you kind of where some things were at. And yeah, really that's it. So I will see you guys this weekend on the study session, and we can take a little bit more in-depth look into this stuff and see how it's opened for the month and things like that. So also you guys look at this, where Netflix is at on the day, actually sitting right here at this 200 with the gap up here. So whole imbalance there. Keep this in mind. And also here, I like Netflix. All right, see you guys Saturday.